What's up, YouTube? Blue Collar Success here, and today I'm going to be talking about the highest paid welding jobs. Can you really make $100,000 as a welder? And I just wanted to say that starting out, you're not going to make anywhere near that. Um, Starting out, you'll probably make 36 to 50 grand a year. Once you build up more experience, and I suggest specializing in a couple things. Do something that not everybody can do. Anyone can do production welding, MIG welding, not anyone, but pretty much a good majority of people can do production and MIG welding. That's not very difficult. And I suggest getting into TIG welding or stick welding on pipes, becoming a steam fitter or pipe fitter or pipeline welder or underwater welder. Those can make quite a bit of money, but just know that starting out, you're not going to make that much money. It took me about 7 years to make over 100 grand a year, and yeah, so I've been in the trades ever since I got out of high school, and I didn't go to college. I went to a tech school, so I don't have much. I don't have any debt, actually, school debt. But it took me. So I'm 27 now. It took me about, with schooling, 8 years over that, probably about, because got my first welding job at 19, but I started in welding school at 18. So, and I started off as a welder at 13 bucks an hour, which is really not that good, but you got to get yourself in the door somewhere and get that experience somewhere. And then I joined the pipe fitters union in my area, and I started off at 15 as a pre-apprentice, served my pre-apprenticeship, and then I went up from there. And it's really good to specialize in something and just not just learn just basic welding, but get really good at a specific skill. So number one is going to be rig welder, like I said before. So you start off about $52,000 a year, all the way up to 207. This is just what this article says, but it all depends on where you want to travel, how much you want to travel, where you want to go, your skill set, and if you have your own rig or not. If you're just a welder helper, if you're an actual rig welder, if you're in a union, how much overtime you work, it all depends. So next one is underwater welder, 38,000 to 147, and this also all varies. You can be welding in the Great Lakes and not make that much money, or you can be doing deep sea diving on oil rigs and make a lot of money. Next one is a nuclear welder. I have a buddy who does this. You can make pretty dang good money on this kind of stuff. This goes all the way from 22,000 just starting out to 143,000. Next one is industrial pipeline welder. This is more along the lines of a pipe fitter, not a pipeline welder. So 23,500 to start, up to 133,500. So I'm gonna gross this year about $110,000, and that's after 8 years experience in learning the trade and a lot of overtime over the course of the year. But it's worth it. It's a good living. You can really make a good living in the blue collar trades, especially as a welder. Military support welders, 37,000 to 160,000. Welding engineer, 51 to 120. Certified welding inspector, these guys can make pretty good money, 42 to 105. Pipe welder, so again the lines of a pipe fitter, like TIG welding and stuff. In a sanitary plant, when you make pretty good money, so 35 to 100 grand a year. Combo welder, this doesn't make as much, but this is more in a manufacturing shop environment, 32 to 82,000. Certified welding supervisor, 38 to 75. Aerospace welder, these guys make another pretty good living, but this is actually one of the lower paying, surprisingly. But it all varies depending on the overtime you work. So 37 to 69. And the last one is just a regular welder, which on average makes about $42,000 a year. That's the average median salary for a welder. That's like production welding. But if you own your own welding business and you have your own rig, which I'm working on setting up for me, you can charge, if you're good at your job and you get good at stuff. You get good at welding, you have good customer service, and you just become good with learning how to deal with customers. You can make the sky's the limit, honestly, and you can pretty much charge whatever you want. So the a lot of people say welders just make 100 grand. That's not really, not just plain old welders make 100 grand unless you're working crazy overtime, which is not really common. The average welding salary, like I said, is $42,000 a year, which is okay money, but it's nothing great, nothing to brag about, nothing special. But it's important, like I said, to get a specialized skill and become really good at a couple things and get good at the actual welding, pipe and stuff like that, because you're going to make a lot more money doing that stuff. And along with steam fitting, where you can do screwed pipe and soldering and all that kind of stuff, you're going to make a lot more money that way. The more skills you have, the better off you'll be. And that's just how it is in this world. So I advise getting more skills in more difficult things. Like even if you're a plumber or something, you can. That's a more skilled trade than just being like a laborer. It all depends on what you want to do, how much you want to make, and it's just like I don't think that it's fair. Mike Rowe and all these other people just say welders make 100 grand. That's just not true. I mean, like I said, you have to work a lot of overtime and have a specialized skill. Yes, they can make 100 grand, but don't expect to come out of welding school making even 50 grand. I was making like $30,000 a year, and yeah, I was 19, living at home, so there was decent money at the time. But now I'm living on my own and stuff, and it's good money. I mean, I can have a good living. I have a nice truck. I can afford a nice place and have a good living in general. So yeah, I just don't like when people say, welders just automatically make 100 grand, because that's just not true. Um, you have to really be specialized in something, because 100 grand is a lot of money, and it's becoming less and less money with inflation and everything. That's why I recommend having a side hustle, have your own welding business on the side, because then you can really pull in the money, and then eventually you could go full time in your mobile welding business, and then you could, quit your day job and just do that full time. Because once you focus on the business full time, you're going to be better off. With that being said, thanks for watching. I'm out.